What is poppin' YouTube? Bringing you some young wide receivers I am looking to sell in Dynasty Fantasy Football. Let's be clear. I could bring you some 30-year-old wide receivers. I could tell you, go sell some Stephon Diggs. Go sell some Devontae Adams. Go sell some Cooper Kupps. And a lot of you are just going to look at me and say, yeah, Caleb, they're old. We like ageism in the Dynasty space. Yeah, sure. I understand why you're going to go sell them. But when we start to talk about these young bucks that maybe you should consider trading off your roster, typically the dislikes start happening on this video. So if you like hearing strategy and you disagree with me, let me know down in the comments down below and let's have a thoughtful discussion around these players. Hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't already, and let's go. First player we're talking about today is going to be Jayden Addison. Now, this is a little bit hypocritical because I just actually traded for Jayden Addison on one of my Dynasty teams this week. Now, granted, traded Kenneth Walker for Jayden Addison. Roast me in the comments down below. Got out of a running back that I don't like the situation into a young wide receiver. But right now, on Keep Trade Cut, Jayden Addison is right now as wide receiver 23. Overall player 53. So when we're looking at him at the overall landscape, we're like, okay, Caleb, he is still like a wide receiver 2. So why are you saying that he's too high, and why are you looking to sell on Jayden Addison? And my reason to sell on Jayden Addison right now is there is no quarterback plan in place for the Minnesota Vikings. At this current point, they haven't traded up into the draft, so we don't know. Are they going to get a Drake May? Are they going to get a JJ McCarthy? But even that feels very risky considering we do know that Sam Darnold is a starting quarterback. And so no matter what, the quarterback play is not going to be the level of Kirk Cousins in the last few years. Now, if we're going to be looking at what Jayden Addison did this year, you're going to be saying to me, well, Caleb, he looked pretty good this year. Jayden Addison, wide receiver 30 on a points per game basis, 10 receiving touchdowns, 13 yards per reception, 70 total catches. Like, that's pretty good. It can only go up from here. Well, I hate to break it to you, but a lot of his production, if we look at his total game log, a lot of his production came later in the season when Justin Jefferson was injured and out of the lineup. Yeah, did he have some huge games where he had 2 touchdowns? Touchdown machine. I mean, he scored a touchdown in like 4 straight games, which is absolutely incredible. Had 2 touchdowns against Cincinnati in week 15 with 29 fantasy points. Was the wide receiver 1 on that week of fantasy points per game basis. But in this offense, we still have TJ Hawkinson. We still have Justin Jefferson. I know a lot of people are going to say to me, well, Caleb, what if Justin Jefferson, there's been the trade rumors, what if Justin Jefferson were to sign somewhere else this offseason? My argument to that is the Minnesota Vikings, Justin Jefferson is like their cornerstone guy. Why are they going to let him just walk away in free agency? So if Jayden Addison is going to be playing second fiddle to Justin Jefferson, cool. I understand the argument that Justin Jefferson opens up things for Jayden Addison. I get it. I understand TJ Hawkinson opens things up for Jayden Addison. But who's this quarterback play going to be? And so that's kind of why, like right now, if I have Jayden Addison, I'm starting to explore some offers, because if we're even looking at wide receivers around him, like Tank Dell, T. Higgins, Rashee Rice, I prefer all of those guys over a guy like Jayden Addison. If we're looking at some players that are in other positions, like could I trade Jayden Addison for Kyle Pitts? Potentially. Could I trade Jayden Addison for Travis Etienne, Brock Bowers, like the 106, 107 range in a Superflex Dynasty rookie draft pick? Potentially. I even, like I said, I like Rashee Rice a little bit more than Jayden Addison right now. And I understand they just signed Hollywood Brown. They might bring another wide receiver in Kansas City. Jayden Addison, I absolutely love the talent. I'm not trading away Jayden Addison because I'm concerned about his size or anything like that. I know a lot of people were worried about his frame coming into the NFL, only being 5'11", 173, really proved. I know he's 22 years old, really like outshined a lot of people. Like very so. If you were rebuilding last year with a lot of picks and you were at the 107 and got Jayden Addison last year, you were feeling great. I just don't currently like the current situation of the Minnesota Vikings. I just think right now you're going to be playing a little bit with fire. The Dynasty trade market is like stocks, and I just think maybe yes, his value is a little bit sunk compared to where it was at one point during the season. But let me get out now before maybe he falls to like wide receiver 28, wide receiver 29 once the season starts. And maybe there's a value bump if somehow JJ McCarthy or Drake May gets there. I just think the overall production is not going to be there once we get in the season. So to me, I'm trying to get out on Jayden Addison, trying to package up, tier up if I can, or if I can just get a pick and re-roll. Can I get the 108? Can I get the 109? Can I get the 110 in this year's draft class and just re-roll and hope I hit with gold? That's kind of what I'm trying to do right now with Jayden Addison as my first sell. My second sell of a young wide receiver is going to be Zay Flowers. And similar boat to Jayden Addison. The only difference is Zay Flowers is playing on an offense that's absolutely incredibly loaded. We just add Derrick Henry. We still have Mark Andrews that's going to be coming back. We got Isaiah Likely. I hear you. Odell Beckham seemingly is not coming back into the fray. So you're saying to me, Caleb, Zay Flowers is a clear wide receiver 1. I don't think the Baltimore Ravens are done adding weapons. And this season, even with Mark Andrews being out past week 14, 12.9 fantasy points per game, put him as wide receiver 31, 858 receiving yards, 77 receptions, 11.1 yards per reception. If we look at it from like a game metric wise, yes, did he really start to come on later in the season without Mark Andrews? Yes, 23 fantasy points, 20 fantasy points, 22 fantasy points, 19.6 fantasy points, and then 20 fantasy points in the playoffs. I mean, Zay Flowers is definitely electric. And so I hear you saying to me, Caleb, this feels dumb. Like, why are you again telling me to sell off on Zay Flowers? Because it's the overall value that you can be getting when you're trading a guy like Zay Flowers. Zay Flowers is actually worth a little bit more than Jordan Addison. They're actually like right back to back on Keep Trade Cut rankings. So honestly, like some of the players that I mentioned with Jordan Addison, I would still be looking to flip for Zay Flowers. But could I flip Zay Flowers for T. Higgins? Could I flip Zay Flowers for Trey McBride? Could I flip Zay Flowers to maybe get into a Tank Dell if I needed to add a small little piece? Like those are all moves that I am looking to do with Zay Flowers. I'm just worried about Zay Flowers. Is he a high-end wide receiver 2? Is he ever going to get like wide receiver 1 upside? I don't personally think so. I just think the offense is going to be so run heavy and there's going to be so many mouths to feed in this offense. We're going to be looking at Zay Flowers going into year 3. And if he has a similar season to what he just had in year 2, I just think his dynasty value is going to fall a little bit. And like I said, you're allowed to debate with me in the comments. So if you were like, Caleb, you're a freaking idiot, do not be selling out on Jordan Addison and Zay Flowers. Let me know down in the comments. Would love to hear your thoughts, but Zay Flowers to me is the next guy I'm selling. Those are some deals that I would be trying to do. Like I said, can I re-roll, get into that 108, 110 range in your rookie draft? Can I trade up to trying to get a Tank Dell? Can I maybe even add a piece to Zay Flowers to get into like a DJ Moore? I know no one likes to sell a young, youthful wide receiver who's 23 years old, but Zay Flowers is going to be a sell. And my final sell of these young wide receivers, like I said, we're making it very quick, very actionable content. We're going to be putting out 5 videos this week. So hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. I want to be here for you all Dynasty offseason. Jayden Reed. Now, Jayden Reed, a lot of people were excited for him coming out of Michigan State, goes to the Green Bay Packers, and Christian Watson was kind of a letdown this last year. You had Luke Musgrave, you had Tucker Kraft, and then people are going to be saying Jayden Reed. Shout out to Jayden Reed. He was maybe the best wide receiver for the Green Bay Packers this season. And I would say, yeah, cool, yeah. Wide receiver 26 on a points per game basis, 13.6 fantasy points per game, but there's a whole lot of mouths to feed. You still got Wicks as well with Christian Watson. We'll have to see if they add another wide receiver in the draft. You got Jordan Love, who's still on his rookie deal. You got all these guys on the rookie deals. So they really haven't had to invest in really any other position. I know they brought in Josh Jacobs. For me, was this season kind of a fluke with how they rotated the wide receivers and that Jayden Reed was kind of the healthiest, performed the best. I mean, if you look at his overall metrics, wide receiver 40 on targets, wide receiver 49 on target share, wide receiver 26 on target rate, opportunity share, wide receiver 44, wide receiver 61 on air yard share, wide receiver 21 on deep targets, wide receiver 14 on red zone targets, wide receiver 5 in total touchdowns. So really for me, the touchdowns they're just always a little fluky to predict. I mean, unless you're Mike Evans, who has just done it year after year after year, or you're Randy Moss, it's really hard for us to say, yeah, that dude's going to be an absolute touchdown machine year after year. Touchdowns are so finicky, it's really hard on a year-to-year basis to really predict on what a wide receiver, especially in like the Green Bay Packers offense where there's so many mouths to feed, how that's going to play out. Now, maybe Jayden Reed, maybe he shows us that the touchdowns, that is something that he's going to be having in his back pocket for the rest of his career. But for me, I'm just like, this just feels like a too good of a time to get out, especially when you invested like second-round draft capital, maybe even 3rd round, because he was kind of going at that point. What are some trades that I'd be looking to do with Jayden Reed? Well, right now he is wide receiver 29 on Keep Trade Cut in the 70s overall. Can I flip him for JJ McCarthy, which would be pick 107, 108? Could I flip Jayden Reed for Bryce Young in a Superflex league? Right now, Keep Trade Cut saying they're very similar. Give me the young quarterback who got 1st overall draft capital over a guy like Jayden Reed. Could I flip Jayden Reed for Kirk Cousins? Give me a QB2, QB3. Love that move. Could I flip Jayden Reed for a guy like Brian Thomas Jr., who's probably going to be going at the 109 in your Superflex league? Absolutely would love that deal. If I'm a contender and I have Jayden Reed, could I flip Jayden Reed straight up for Mike Evans? And just know that the next 2 years, probably, yeah, Mike Evans is going to age out. He's over that 30-year-old age cliff. But could that be a deal that I do with Jayden Reed? Jayden Reed, the youth is 100% there and on his side. So if we can leverage that into an asset that's actually going to produce for us on our team and or get us into a better asset just based on his inflated cost, that's something that I would like to do. So let me know down below which one of these guys you're not selling and why, and give me some facts to back it up, because we'd love to talk and chat with you in the comments. If you like Dynasty Fantasy Football content, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We'll be back with another video tomorrow. Got a ton more content planned out. Got the next 14 videos planned out. It's going to be a blast once you're on the channel, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.